This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some big important updates to share with you. So today, September 15th, those monthly stimulus checks, the child tax credits are hitting bank accounts for $250 or $300 per child. I'll give you more details on that. Looks like food prices are continuing to rise, and we'll go over the latest guaranteed income programs, those universal basic income programs that are paying $500 per month. I'll let you know the latest cities to do so. And we'll talk about this crazy article right here. Biden pressured Manchin to back a $1.9 trillion stimulus deal during last-minute phone call. President Biden saying to Manchin, "If you don't come along, you're really effing me." And with the clash between Bernie Sanders and Joe Manchin heating up, Democrat leaders are playing it off cool. I'll play you a few more video clips from Joe Manchin and Bernie Sanders. We'll talk about the debt ceiling, how Republicans are united behind Mitch McConnell saying they don't want to raise the debt ceiling. And I'll play you a video clip from Chuck Schumer responding to that. Then I'll answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. If you appreciate these fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below. So when it comes to COVID and the vaccines and the variants, looks like the Mu COVID variant cases are highest in these 5 states. So we still don't know too much about the Mu variant, but supposedly it is resistant to whatever vaccine is available as of now. So these 5 states, it's going in no particular order in this article. So it looks like Los Angeles, Florida, then we have New York and Alaska and Texas. Those are the highest amount of cases where Mu is recorded, and it's only in the hundreds as of now, but probably going to start rising up over the next few weeks as things are spreading. Also, Biden COVID team sees vaccine efficacy waning in unpublished data from Israel. So what's going on here is the data, which is set to be made public as soon as this week, shows that the Pfizer vaccine's ability to prevent severe disease and hospitalization is waning over time. So this is the reason why they're having a 3rd booster shot, and in Israel they're saying they even want a 4th booster shot, just because over time the vaccine is not as protective moving forward. But with the new variants coming out, they're not really sure what the next steps are. Let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments below. Next, let's talk about how food is getting more expensive in the US, and it's not just due to COVID. So food prices are rising and rising. If you do any grocery shopping at all, I'm sure you could see that your bill is just getting higher and higher, almost on a weekly basis. What is the reason for that? So beef prices have been rising, farmers and ranchers have been making less money, climate change, labor issues, transportation, concerns over other supply chain distributions have been contributing to the rising costs over the past several years. And Kroger, I have a Kroger by me, but Kroger is a popular grocery chain saying that organized crime among contributors to higher food prices, meaning that Kroger is saying that they're going to have to raise food prices another 2 to 3% this year, more than expected, basically because of what's going on with higher supply chain costs, rising levels of theft, and increasing food prices all will play roles. So food prices are just going up continuously in the US, and it's actually a lot worse in other countries around the world. Next, let's talk about checks coming in bank accounts. So when it comes to the child tax credit, September 15th, which is today, your bank account gets a $250 to $300 boost. So this is not your first time getting it. You've probably gotten it before, starting August 15th. Everything is according to schedule with the $250, $300 boost. When it comes to the child tax credit portal, the IRS has not updated it any time since the last time I spoke about it. I think it's been over a month. Even though they said a lot of updates were going to come, nothing as of yet. Next, let's talk about what's going on with these guaranteed income and universal basic income programs. So more Hudson residents to get $500 monthly in universal basic income effort. So I spoke about Hudson, New York a while ago. Now they're going to add another 50 more working and lower class residents to receive $500 a month to use it however they want. If you're not familiar, universal basic income, guaranteed income programs, basically they pick people and they pay them $500 or $1,000 a month, whatever the amount is, and they just get to use that money however they want. It doesn't matter about jobs, they don't have to pay it back. So these are the different programs that are going on now. They originally had one and now they're adding more people to it. First direct payments coming to Columbia fathers through CLIMB program, guaranteed income pilot program. So this is Columbia, South Carolina, which is only a couple hours away from me. So it's going to be 100 Columbia-based fathers are going to get the $500 per month through this program. Then we also have Durham, North Carolina. So it's saying here, newly launched guaranteed income program giving some Durham $500 a month. So this is as I mentioned, in North Carolina. So this is comes from Jack Dorsey. So Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey has been funding a lot of these projects around the country in different cities, basically donating millions of his billions of dollars, saying, hey, here's several $1,000,000. Let's pick a few hundred families to give $500 per month. And it's done at random. And so, yeah, this is the latest city, Durham, North Carolina. It's going to be so it's a little different with this one. 115 formerly incarcerated people will be randomly selected and screened to receive unconditional cash transfer of $500 per month. So meaning that they were in jail. I guess they're doing all different types of programs to help all different types of communities. I've been following this for a while, so I'll let you know of any new universal basic income and guaranteed income programs popping up. Next, let's talk about what's going on with that $3.5 trillion stimulus package, which seems to just be taking forever and constantly be dragged out. So lawmakers have promised that it will be done this month. They said as early as September 27th, but will that be the case? We'll see. Drama continues to rise with it. As Sanders and Manchin clash, Democrat leaders play it cool. So what's going on here is as Joe Manchin and Bernie Sanders are constantly at each other's throats when it comes to passing this. Some are saying it's going to happen, it's not going to happen, too high, too low. What Chuck Schumer said is we're moving forward. There are going to be a lot of intense discussions and negotiations over the next few weeks. There are members of our caucus who want it higher than $3.5 trillion. There are members of our caucus who want it lower than $3.5 trillion. We will have to come together. Basically saying Chuck Schumer, Bernie Sanders, and Joe Manchin are going to get it done. Here's a video clip from Bernie Sanders.
We worked with Senator Manchin to pass the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan, which was enormously consequential and helpful to working class families in getting us out of the economic disaster that befell us as a result of COVID. I believe we're going to all sit down and work together and come up with a $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill, which deals with the enormously unmet needs of working families. You know, we've got to lower the cost of prescription drugs for people. We've got to expand Medicare to include dental, hearing aids, and eyeglasses. We have to maintain the $300 direct payment we're giving to working parents, which have lowered childhood poverty in America by 50%. And I'll tell you what else we have got to do. The scientists will tell us that we got a few years left before there will be irreversible harm to our planet if we do not address climate change. And the truth of the matter is, Dana, as you may know, many of us made a major compromise in going from the $6 trillion bill that we wanted, supported by the overwhelming majority of Democrats, down to 3.5. Mm-hmm. And the last point that I would make on this, I know that Senator Manchin worked very hard. It's called the Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill, $550 billion of new money to rebuild our roads and our bridges. What we have worked on is working both of those bills in tandem. They go together. And it would be a really sad state of affairs for the American people, for Congress, if both of those bills went down.
What are your thoughts on Bernie Sanders talking about this? I've mentioned in the past, whose side are you taking here? Is it Bernie Sanders, Joe Manchin? Let me know your thoughts on that. Also, we have another Democrat who's causing a little friction here. Jon Tester says 100% of the reconciliation package must be paid for. So Jon Tester from Montana, he's a Democrat moderate, said that I'm going to be looking at a couple of things: where the money is coming from, how it's being raised, and then how it's being utilized moving forward. We have a lot of work to do, basically saying he's not going to vote for it unless it is 100% paid for. And also, this article came out, Biden pressured Manchin to back $1.9 trillion stimulus deal in a last-minute phone call. So this is the second stimulus check package, or actually, sorry, the third stimulus check package. President Biden personally called Joe Manchin saying, if you don't come along, you're really effing me. Of course, you could use your imagination what that word is. I can't say it on YouTube. So this phone call took place March 5th, one day before the Senate lawmakers voted on whether to approve Biden's American Rescue Plan. So this happened one day. I'm wondering if we're going to have another phone call personally from President Biden calling Joe Manchin. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think President Biden is going to get involved? So far, we haven't heard of any of these phone calls, but then again, these are private behind-the-scenes phone calls that we don't hear until later. Here is a video clip from Joe Manchin. Then we'll talk about debt ceiling, and I'll answer the questions you leave for me in the comments.
President Biden has seen no shortage of Republican opposition to his vaccine mandate strategy. But when it comes to the Democrats and their $3.5 trillion spending plan, in addition to united Republican opposition, the president has at least one Democrat, but probably a few more, including Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia, saying, not so fast. In an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, Manchin called for a strategic pause, writing, I've always said if I can't explain it, I can't vote for it, and I can't explain why my Democratic colleagues are rushing to spend $3.5 trillion. Well, Senator Joe Manchin joins me now. Senator, welcome back.
Good to be with you, Chuck. Thank you.
Let me start. My first question, and actually I'm going to cede to the Speaker of the House. Take a listen to what she said. I want you to respond.
Sure.
Where would you cut? Child care? Family medical leave paid for? Universal pre-K, home health care, so important.
I think that's what I hear a lot from Democrats on Capitol Hill. It's like, we get it. We get what he's not for. But how do you get there? So what should not be included
Well,
in
Chuck,
this
first of all, everything that the Speaker, which I have the greatest respect for, has mentioned that I've been for and voted for. We spent $5.4 trillion, and a lot of that really continues way into next year. We haven't dispersed it all. The only thing I've said, put a pause on. Shouldn't we basically put a pause on with all the unknowns that we have right now we're facing? Don't know where COVID's going to go. Inflation is still very high and rampant. And then on top of that, the geopolitical unrest that we have going on, we might be challenged there. Don't you think we ought to be prepared for that? Since we don't have the emergency that we had with the American Rescue Plan when the president first came in and we passed?
Let me ask you this, though. This is long-term infrastructure. That in some ways, they call it human infrastructure.
Social reforms.
I understand that. Social reforms, however you want to look at it. When people have different names. They take investment. This isn't short term, and it wants to be paid for. And if it's paid for, there shouldn't be an inflation problem.
And the only thing I have said, there's not a rush to do that right now. We don't have an urgency. Don't you think we ought to debate a little bit more, talk about it, and see what we've got out there?
So you're not against this? You could support this $3.5 trillion plan.
I cannot support $3.5 trillion.
Okay, so that is
okay,
all right, now we're getting to Brad. It is not a time issue. It really is a cost issue.
We got 5.4 out right now.
Okay.
That's a 3.5 they want to spend.
Over 8 or 10 years, depending on what.
3.5, but still, there's going to be it's going to be a lot more than 3.5 over 8 or 10 years because it'll continue. A lot of those programs will never come off.
So what do you think about Joe Manchin? Do you agree, disagree? When it comes to the comments, I see a lot of you more for Bernie Sanders and a few of you for Joe Manchin, but let me know your opinion on that. Is there anything you agree with? Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. Treasury Secretary Yellen warns U.S. government could run out of money unless a debt ceiling is lifted. So we keep hearing these warnings that U.S. government is going to run out of money, we're going to default, and it's a serious problem. But it looks like the Republicans just don't want it to happen. So Mitch McConnell saying Republicans are united in opposition to raising the debt ceiling. So we are at trillions, multiple trillions of dollars right now, and Republicans are what Mitch McConnell said is last night. He said Republicans are united in opposition to raising the debt ceiling. Basically saying they're not for it. It's only up to the Democrats if they want it done. Here's Chuck Schumer responding to that.
Go ahead. On the debt ceiling, Plan A seems to be to put this with the CR and hope Republicans blink. I think that's right. Correct me if I'm wrong. But what's Plan B if they don't? Mitch McConnell made it pretty clear they're not interested in voting for this at all.
Well, let me just say again, I'd like every single Republican senator to answer the question, are they willing to let the government default? As to the plans, we are working. There are a number of different options. The White House, Speaker Pelosi, myself are discussing those. And we believe that we must do this. We believe it's an imperative to do it. And Leader McConnell, as I said, is playing dangerous political games by not stepping up to the plate as he asked us to do, and we did when Trump was president. Yes, next.
Following up on that, are Democrats willing to go with that alone? Because as Garrett said, Senator McConnell said they stand united against.
It's hard to, well, I think that statement speaks so negatively for itself. And we believe we have to renew the debt ceiling, and we are going to move forward and get it done. And we believe it will ultimately be done in a bipartisan way. And I think the whole country, including many very conservative elements in the business and finance communities, will be appalled if we get so close to the deadline that Leader McConnell is risking the full faith and credit of the country. Yes, Bolton.
Is it even an option to add the debt limiting?
Look, again, we are discussing all of the options with the president and with Speaker Pelosi. Yes.
Next, I'm going to answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. So Mark Nichols asks, I'm 61 years old and on SSDI. Would I receive that $1,400 check? Unfortunately not. So it looks like people on SSDI are left out of the loop on this, and you would have to be a senior citizen collecting Social Security to get that $1,400 check. But to remind you, it is just a proposal at the moment. It is not officially in the bill. Kimberly W., why is one man holding up everyone? He has ulterior motives and strong ties to Exxon. Yeah, referring to Joe Manchin, it's crazy how much power one person can actually have. Laura Toledo, how many vacations do they need? We are in the middle of a pandemic. Pandemic, you said. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Pandemic. They don't give a rat's rump about America or we the people. Vacations. They're the ones who make the rules of their vacations, so they could do as many vacations as they want, which is pretty crazy. Christine Vitt, what is wrong with these people? They need to grow up. People are in bad shape, and they need to stop all the games, get their heads out of their butt, and start helping people. Yeah, totally right. I see a lot of these comments very similar. Like, why can't they just get together, get something done, do something for the American people? I think if the voting process was a lot easier and faster, a lot of these representatives would have been out of office a while ago. But since there's several years, could be 2 to 4 years, 5 years for governors to get people out of office, looks like they stick around a lot longer, and people forget a lot of these bad things when it comes time to voting. But imagine if it was like a week-to-week voting system. Things would probably speed up a lot more then. Anyways, that is all the stimulus news I have for you today. To hopefully cheer you up a bit, here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Bella. This is the tip of the day. I want to tell you the one thing that you should do. When you do something and you don't learn, you will be a better person. If you learn, then you'll grow up and be more better at things that you learned. That's all I want to give the explanation to you. Guys, see you in the next tip of the day, and be safe. See you in the next tip of the day.
Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of your support. So we did some chalk drawing out in the driveway yesterday. We did something called alphabet hopscotch, which is pretty cool, where I say a word and then Bella jumps to all the different letters. So that was a lot of fun. Also, I'm going to give away $200 checks. I'm going to announce it in 2 days. So if you're watching up until this part of the video, you're VIP and you know what's coming ahead of time. I might mention it in tomorrow's video too. But anyways, if you want to check out any of my other videos, you could click up here for my other channels or down here for more stimulus updates, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.